Welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings.
Alright, let's get started with Raw. It starts off in a very odd way because usually you have somebody cutting a promo, right? But this time, it starts off with the tag team battle royal, and the winner was basically going to become team captain for the Raw side. As we do know, SmackDown already had their entire team, and they already had their team captains. So the Battle Royal is maybe like 30 to 45 seconds in, a minute tops, and then the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, decides to interrupt, and he basically takes everyone out. He completely just destroys everybody, and he basically claims he is not going to leave until Baron Corbin gets these hands. So he's basically threatening to take over all of Raw. So then, Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, she comes out to put an end to all of this, and she basically tells Braun that he cannot hold Raw hostage. That she has to let the show go on, and so therefore Strowman says he doesn't give a damn about supremacy, that all he wants is Baron Corbin, and then he wants the Universal Champion,
Brock Lesnar.
And so Steph says that if he leads the Raw men's team to victory at Survivor Series this Sunday, he can get whatever he wants. And he said, I want Baron Corbin first, and then I want a shot at the Universal Champion. And Stephanie agreed, as long as he is able to take their team to victory.
Very, very high stakes for Braun Strowman. Again, he should take this opportunity, so he could face Brock Lesnar in his rematch, which I think he should have won.
Exactly. I feel like at this point they're really delaying Braun Strowman becoming the Universal Champion. I think it's long overdue at this point. I think he should have won it the previous time, and obviously he hasn't.
Obviously, Braun Strowman is going to be the game changer in the Survivor Series team.
Of course, and we know that when it comes to Braun Strowman being a team player, he can definitely be a team player, and he has a great team. He really, really does. It seems like they're more united than the SmackDown team is.
That is correct, but I feel that Braun Strowman could get it done, but at the same time, it might backfire on him and not get it done. Why? Because everybody might gain up on him. Baron Corbin, at the end of the day,
And Strowman does also let Stephanie know that if he doesn't get what he wants, he will go to the WWE headquarters and just destroy everything inside of it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That is something you don't see every day. And so then Ronda Rousey interrupts, and Baron Corbin, he comes out as well, and he tells everybody to relax, and that this isn't how it's about to go down. And he says that everybody has to focus on SmackDown Live, so Ronda Rousey has had enough, and she just takes him out, literally. She is a savage, wasn't scared of him. Alright, let's get into the very first match of the night, which was Ember Moon versus Tamina. She was accompanied with Nia Jax. Alright, Ember Moon starts off super well. Again, she's one of those that you have to pay attention to. It's one of those people that you have to keep a very, very close eye.
Yeah, especially because of her quickness in the ring, of what she does, and just the new movesets that she brings every time.
And, again, she uses the speed to her advantage, and she wasn't giving Tamina any opportunities. She dominated 90% of this match. And that goes to show that it doesn't matter who you put her up against. She is going to deliver, and she is going to try to take every single person out.
Yeah, and we all know about Tamina's strength, and that was pretty much the difference.
And again, Nia Jax, this distraction helps Tamina a lot. Why? Because she's there at ringside. She can put a stop to whatever Ember Moon is trying to do. And we saw that. She was trying to interfere in this match. And that caused Ember Moon to kind of just set back a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when someone gets involved in your match and causes a distraction, it totally throws off your game plan, no matter who you are and what kind of match you're wrestling.
You know, and then Tamina goes out with the splash to defeat Ember Moon, and then Nia finishes things up by punishing Ember Moon. What do you think? Where do you think we're going to go from here? Obviously, Tamina and Nia Jax are a dominant force. We can put it that way because they're two of the powerhouses of the women's division. Especially in Raw, that's something they don't really have other than Ronda. Where do you see these two going from there?
I see these two going very far. You know, I don't see them splitting up, you know, maybe if anything past WrestleMania, but even further than that. I think this is a great team, you know, just because of very unique, a lot of power.
And keep in mind, Nia Jax does have an opportunity at Ronda Rousey. Tamina is obviously most likely going to be there. She is probably going to be at ringside supporting Nia Jax. Even then, I still don't think Nia is going to be able to take down Ronda, but we do know that Ronda has a history of getting distracted super, super easily, although she's gotten a lot better at it than before.
Definitely, I have to agree with you on that one. I know for a fact Tamina's going to be on ringside, you know, accompanying Nia Jax.
What do you think of Ember Moon?
Ember Moon?
Where do you see Ember going?
I see her probably winning the Royal Rumble, if anything. That's going to be one of my picks for this year. I mean, she's extremely talented, and she just proves it every single week that she's out there performing. You know, and she hasn't disappointed us ever since she's debuted in the main roster.
I mean, we did see at the Evolution Battle Royal that she was the second one, the last one to be eliminated aside from Selena. But, hey, she is super dangerous because she's smart, she's athletic, and she has everything to be one of the top stars in the main roster.
And piggybacking on what I said, I mean, she proved it against Nia Jax in the Battle Royal. I mean, she was super close to eliminating her.
She single-handedly pretty much gave her a fight, to put it that way. And hey, she is going to be one of those that you always have to keep an eye out, and it's going to be very interesting to see where they go with her. I feel like she hasn't really been in a proper storyline since coming up to the main roster, and I think it's long overdue. I think it's time for a proper storyline and a proper feud with somebody, whereas instead of having her bounce around from person to person.
She won't win the title anytime soon. I just feel that it's going to take time. But if they book her right, like you said, give her a proper storyline, she'll get there. It's just a matter of time.
And I feel like we'll be able to see more of her that way and more of what she can do and expand her talent than just having her go around from talent to talent.
And sometimes that's what I feel that WWE should do with most of the talent. Not just throw them in the title picture right away, but just give them that time to develop, give them that time to show their full potential and see how they react with the crowd. And then maybe then you could just focus on like, okay, you know what, let's give them a championship now, see what they got to offer.
Couldn't agree with that anymore. You basically took the words right out of my mouth. And we do think alike, so every time we say that, don't think it's because we're just saying it. Him and I think a lot alike in these situations. All right, let's get into Seth Rollins. He was going to get interviewed by Corey Graves, which he did, and then Seth Rollins just goes on and talks about Shinsuke Nakamura. At first, he basically says that he doesn't care about him, that come Sunday he's going to be prepared and he's going to be focused to take on Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, definitely is going to be one of the matches that we have to see. You know, two great superstars. One, Nakamura has proven himself, but I feel that he still has more to offer.
Exactly.
You know, on the other hand, Seth Rollins has nothing to prove. He delivers every single time.
So can we both agree that Seth Rollins is going to be victorious this Sunday against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes, I'm going to have to go with Seth Rollins.
And I also feel like Nakamura hasn't really been able to show his full potential. I know down in NXT he was able to do that. Now I feel like I've said it before. He got pushed. His push basically got shut down. And then they gave him the U.S. title. And he hasn't really defended it ever since then. He's had maybe, 2-3 title defenses over the last couple of months?
I think so. And I feel that a lot of it had to do with that match at WrestleMania against AJ Styles. You know, it was on paper, it was supposed to be probably the biggest match of WrestleMania last year in New Orleans, but I felt it didn't deliver as much, and not only with AJ but with Shinsuke. And I feel that Shinsuke could do more. You know, and I don't know if they're telling him to hold back or he's holding himself back, but knowing him, coming from Japan, being one of the greatest wrestlers in Japan, you know, he's got a lot to offer.
Exactly. Moving on to the rest of this interview, Seth says he wants to know why Dean did what he did. And so then he calls him out, basically. He tells him, Dean, are you not man enough to come out and tell me why you did what it is that you did, right? So then Dean Ambrose is on the Titron. He's basically sitting on a car in the parking lot, and then there's like a garbage can that's just lit up with fire, and so he starts talking, and then he says that maybe he shouldn't have been treated the way that he was treated. You know, as I've said it before, I always felt like Dean was the outsider. I always felt like he was the one that didn't particularly fit in, and he did get into that everybody basically used him in the Shield, and that he thought the Shield was stronger together, but in reality they were just making him weaker. And he did say that the Shield, Roman, and Seth made him weak.
I see that, and I see his point, just because it's always been about Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, not much about Dean. You know, all the attention is on Roman and Seth, not necessarily on him.
Exactly, and I do understand where he's coming from when he does say that, because, like you said, if you really do think about it, the two top stars from the Shield are basically Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. He basically was just hanging on to them. Now, not taking anything away from Dean Ambrose, because he's incredibly talented. He's great. He's fantastic. But I do feel like the Shield played a really huge role as part of his career.
It did, because it helped elevate it, no doubt about it. You know, and he was pretty much, all three of them were pretty much well known to being on the Shield. And then once they started to break apart, you know, that's when we saw their full potential in, you know, in Roman and Seth and Dean. But the one that everybody else exploded except for Dean. You know, what helped Dean out was that he was in SmackDown and he became champion. And
exactly.
And that's when he really proved himself. But even then, we were still talking about Seth Rollins, and we were still talking about
Roman Reigns. And it's always been that way, guys. Like, I've always felt like he's just been the outsider in the Shield. And he's basically there when they need him. That's basically what I always saw him as. Again, not taking anything from him. And then he goes on to then burn down, if reference to burn it down, he goes and burns down his Shield vest and says he doesn't need it anymore. Yeah,
and I mean, going back to on Dean Ambrose, I mean, he really proved that when he came back from his injury, he was crucial in all the victories for Seth Rollins and also for Roman Reigns. So he felt used, and I get where he's coming from, you know, and I feel it's just build up from years.
Exactly, and I do saw it coming, you know, we just didn't know when, and I personally think that if he would not have done it the night that he did, it would not have been a successful heel turn the way it has turned out to be now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, we knew he was going to turn. We just didn't know exactly when. But him turning that night when Roman announced that he was diagnosed with leukemia, you know, it was totally unexpected. And I thought it was great because, like you said, now he's pretty much the most hated superstar in the Raw roster. Yep,
even though the top heel is Becky Lynch, she's still getting cheered. Yeah, so I do feel like somebody needed to be that top heel that we have needed over the last couple of years, and I feel like Dean Ambrose did that when he turned on the night that Roman said he wasn't going to be able to compete.
Perfect example, like McIntyre. He's pretty much a heel, but everybody likes him because, what he's done and all that. And, he's a good heel pretty much.
Exactly.
And Dean Ambrose is a bad heel.
And talking about McIntyre, let's move on to the next segment, which basically Kurt Angle was supposed to come out and address what happened last week on Raw when he lost to Drew McIntyre, but instead we got Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Are you really surprised? No, not really. But McIntyre says that he's basically going to be taking over the WWE, taking over Raw. And he started with breaking up the Shield and then taking out Kurt Angle. He made some those 2 points are very, very valid because he did play a huge role in separating the Shield. And I told you that was the plan. That's what they wanted to do all the time because they knew they couldn't defeat Roman Reigns without taking out the Shield. And they recruited to Dean Ambrose, which was the weakest link, and they got into his head.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that they got into his head. And like you said, I think they played a huge part in convincing Dean Ambrose into turning heel and turning on the Shield.
And so then he goes on to say that Raw is his show and that he will mold it to be what he wants it to be. And Finn Balor decides to interrupt and says he has crossed the line, that what he did to Kurt Angle was not okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to make a statement, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to make a statement in the women's division, you'll probably make it against a legend, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
And it was part of the match. Drew McIntyre said what he was gonna do since the beginning, since he got there, that he was gonna change the locker room, that he was gonna, pretty much change the entire division, and that's what he's doing.
Exactly.
And I feel that that's what Raw needs, someone like McIntyre. And I don't blame him. Sometimes you gotta do whatever it takes to win. Like they say, sometimes you gotta make your heroes your enemies,
your
right?
enemies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, it's just, what a great way to do it, and against Kurt Angle.
So then Finn Balor says he wants to challenge Drew McIntyre to a match, and Drew said, if you can beat somebody like Dolph Ziggler, then you got your match, is basically what he says. So then we get to see Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor. Dolph Ziggler starts off dominating this match and doing a fantastic job keeping Finn down. He didn't give him time to capitalize. He wasn't giving him any opportunities to bounce back. And that's brilliant. That's a veteran move from Dolph Ziggler.
And here's another thing about Dolph Ziggler. Whoever you put him against, he always delivers and seems to work well with everybody. And I mean, to do that, it's very, very impressive. And same thing with Finn Balor.
Exactly.
He always delivers, and whoever you put him with, he's always going to deliver and have a great match.
I feel like a lot of that comes from their wrestling style because it's super easy to just bounce back immediately no matter who you're facing. But a lot of that comes from having experience, being talented. We know Finn Balor wrestled in the Indies for a really long time. He obviously has experience. He's been wrestling for years now. And he did a great job in this match. And when he, and he was able to capitalize, he was giving Dolph a fight when he was able to capitalize. And that just goes to show that he's one of those superstars that is extremely talented.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, following back, he has great chemistry, not only with Dolph,
but with other
but with
superstars
others too. And I think that's very crucial.
And Dolph is one of those people that always tries to outsmart his opponents, and I feel like that was the weakness in this match. Because he's smart. He knows. He's a veteran. He knows how to take out his opponent. And he got into his head, and he was one of those where he was outsmarting him as they went. And I think Finn wasn't able to come back from that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, having McIntyre ringside too is just intimidating, no matter who you are. And ever since McIntyre came into Dolph Ziggler's career, Dolph Ziggler's career has elevated even more.
Exactly.
He's even better. It makes him more dangerous, than what he was.
And Finn, obviously, when he's able to capitalize, he is able to give Dolph Ziggler that fight that he wanted. And he won the match. He was able to take down Dolph Ziggler, which means he's going to get a match against Drew McIntyre. And I am looking forward to that.
Definitely. Me too. It's going to be a powerhouse. Maybe we could say versus a high flyer.
Exactly. And let me just tell you that Stephanie McMahon was very impressed by Finn Balor, so she decided to add him to the Survivor Series team. So that right there is another asset. You have, like the SmackDown team has somebody like Rey Mysterio. Raw has Finn Balor, who I guess you can say has the same similar style as Rey Mysterio, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see. He was going to be a huge asset to this team.
Definitely someone I would like to have in my team. You know, analyzing both teams. You know, it's
going to be hard.
It's going to be hard, you know, because they're pretty evenly matched.
Exactly. And he has great stamina. He can be in the ring for a super long time. We do know at the Royal Rumble, he lasted over 40 minutes, I want to say that he lasted. He was entrant number... He was in the first, 3 or 4 that came in. And he lasted pretty much the entire show. So that is good. Because if he's going to be in the ring for that long, that benefits Raw.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if it's him and Dolph that are standing for the team. You know, just because Dolph, in the past, he's been, if not the lone survivor in the Survivor Series match, you know, but don't be surprised if Finn and Dolph Ziggler end up being the last two team standing for
Raw.
For Team Raw.
Alright, let's get into Ruby Riott with the Riott Squad versus Natty. It was supposed to be a match, but we didn't get a match, you know. But Natty decides to attack Ruby from behind, and the Riott Squad takes out Natty. And then Bayley and Sasha didn't come out to the rescue. So see what I mean? The Riott Squad sticks together. And I will tell you why. Because when Ruby was cutting the promo and then Natalia's music hits, Liv and Sarah went to the front of the ring to wait for her by the ramp. And Ruby was left by herself in the ring. And Natty comes from behind and attacks her. And the Riott Squad notices that she was being attacked. And they immediately jumped on Natty. They immediately took her out. They made sure Ruby was okay. And they made sure that Natty was unable to capitalize on that. And this is what I'm telling you. They're always together. They are a unity. They are a team. They are like a family. Where was Bayley and Sasha? See what I mean? It's the little things. It's like they have been teaming since Evolution, and they were nowhere to be found.
Definitely. The Riott Squad has been impressive. They're, in my opinion, the most dangerous, you know, woman in the WWE right now. You know, especially, and you don't want to have them, you don't want to face them in a match, pretty much, because if not, they're going to completely destroy you.
You don't want to make them mad because they work together as a team and they are there. They have each other's back.
Like I said, you know, the Riott Squad is pretty much the shield of the women's division. You know, but I feel that they're more united and they're all equal with each other.
Exactly.
As far as nobody's left out, they're all, you know, they're all united. Pretty much the same. Exactly. Yeah, united.
They're all united and they all have each other's back and they all work extremely well together and you can compare them to the Shield. Alright, so now let's get into the match that was supposed to open Raw, which was a tag team battle royal. And pretty much this was going to determine who the Raw tag team captains were going to be. And it was super, super short, but overall it was really, really good. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable for the win. So they are going to be representing Raw as the tag captains. What do you think? I mean, there's really nothing much to say about this because it was super short. And like I said, it was just, they were the ones that ended up winning. And there was really not much to this battle royal.
There really wasn't much to the battle royal. I did see them winning just because there's not a lot of competition in the Raw Tag Team division. If you really take the time to sit down and analyze it, you really don't have
solid tag teams.
They were just teams pretty much put together and let's see how it goes.
Exactly.
You know, other than probably the Ascension and the Revival, I don't see any other teams that are pretty solid as
an actual tag team. Yeah. That have been together for a long period of time.
And I think that's going to probably be a huge factor in the Survivor Series
match.
All
right, so now let's get into Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They come out and they say that Brock Lesnar is pretty much superior to anybody and that there isn't anybody that Brock Lesnar would like to face more than AJ Styles, who is the WWE champion. And he said that is the one person he is looking forward to fighting. And as we do know, he faced him last year at Survivor Series, and AJ was super, super close to defeating Brock Lesnar. And I think that has been the closest somebody has gotten to defeating Brock Lesnar.
Him and Samoa Joe.
Yes.
You can't forget about Samoa Joe. Because Samoa Joe did take Brock Lesnar to the limit as well and was pretty much close to defeating him. But falling back on AJ Styles, last year's match against Brock Lesnar was amazing. I think it stole the show and was able to push Brock Lesnar to a limit where he hasn't been pushed in a while in the WWE. And obviously AJ proving why he's so talented.
And Jinder Mahal interrupts. It feels like there's a little bit of saltiness going into this because he comes out and he says that AJ Styles basically stole his opportunity at facing Brock Lesnar last year at Survivor Series, and he basically tells him, like, dude, that was supposed to be my match, and to not take it up against AJ Styles.
Yeah, I mean, I see where he's coming from, but he didn't do the job. He didn't beat
exactly.
AJ Styles. AJ Styles was the one that beat him, and Jinder had his opportunity, and he didn't succeed.
He even offers his assistance to Brock Lesnar. Like, he is willing to help him out. He is willing to side with them so that they can take down AJ Styles at Survivor Series.
Trust me, Brock Lesnar doesn't need
any help. I know. He doesn't. We've seen it. We've seen what Brock can do. He can dominate. He doesn't need any help. Other than Paul Heyman, I don't really think he's looking for anybody to side with him. And we saw that because he took them all out. He suplexed them. He just made sure they were out of the question. All right. Let's get into Bobby Lashley versus Elias. And the winner of this match was going to go on to the men's Survivor Series team to fill the very last spot left on this team. And again, Bobby Lashley, we've seen him. We've seen what he can do. He obviously dominated pretty much the entire match. Extreme power. Incredible athleticism from him for a guy, that buff, that big. And Lio Rush didn't have a microphone.
Yes. Thank God. But here, even though Bobby Lashley's power, and great athleticism, I still think it wasn't enough. Just because he needed Lio Rush to get the victory.
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah, he's getting the wins. He's, improving, but it's still not enough. I think he could deliver more. Lio Rush has helped him a lot, and he was able to get the victory.
Elias, extremely talented, heel or face, man. He can sell whatever you need him to sell. All his moves are fantastic. His mic skills are on point. He can wrestle. He's one of those where he's a full package. He literally has everything you need to become a successful WWE superstar.
And this is a perfect example of what I was saying earlier, about giving a superstar time, to build him towards that championship opportunity. And I feel it's time for Elias. Elias, like you said, has a full package, and not only that, knows how to work the crowd. And I think that's very, very crucial in a champion, whether you're heel or face. And he does a great job with that.
And he does a great job at delivering, and he's always improving. Yeah. We always see something new from Elias. He is down to fight anyone, anytime. And that when Elias comes out, you are going to get a show because he is going to deliver. Whether he's performing or whether he is performing as an in-ring competitor, you are going to get the best out of Elias.
Yeah, and we've seen the best out of Elias, and like you said, each and every single week.
All right, let's get into, I guess, what we can call the main event. It was basically Alexa Bliss coming out, and she announced she is finally going to announce her Survivor Series team. I had been waiting a long, long week for this. I did wanted to know who she was going to pick. Again, I told you last week when we did the podcast, I told you that she was waiting to see who SmackDown was going to pick, and it was fantastic because she put together the best possible team you could have possibly put together. And that is very, very beneficial for the Raw team and Alexa Bliss, showing a lot of great management skills. I think that if her career were to be cut short because of the concussions, because as we've seen, she hasn't wrestled over the last couple of months, which I don't wish upon her, let me set that straight, but I feel like she would be a great manager. She would do a fantastic job leading somebody to being a top star.
She'll be pretty much like a Paul Heyman in the women's division.
Exactly.
If anything, And, yeah, I mean, it was pretty smart on her to wait till the last minute to pick her team, because that way you can strategize, pick and choose, from... Pick your team pretty much, and know what the other weaknesses of the team is.
Exactly, and she put together the perfect team. Let me get into who she chose. She chose Natty. Again, veteran, knows exactly what she's doing, extremely well in the ring, and the only defect that Natty has is that she lets her emotions get the best of her, but even then, she is able to pull through that and perform 100% to the best of her abilities. She is always delivering, and she is always improving. And she picked Nia Jax. We've seen how big of a powerhouse she is. We see she's able to wrestle. She can hang up there with top stars. Mickie James, another veteran. Extremely talented, smart, knows how to get to your opponent, and she can take down anybody at any time. Tamina, same thing. Another powerhouse. Veteran. She has been there for a while. She knows what she's doing.
And then the last one.
It was going to be either Sasha Banks or Bayley because she put them in a match, and she said that whoever won that match was going to take part in the Survivor Series team. And so she puts them against each other, and they both start off strong again. They're one of the ones that know each other super, super well. They've been wrestling each other for as long as I can basically remember. Down in NXT, had some of the greatest matches they could ever possibly had. And then Tamina, Nia, and Mickie interfere, and then Alexa says that no one won, so that Ruby Riott, being the last member, is going to join the team again. Ruby Riott, probably one of the greatest wrestlers that Raw has right now.
And like we had said, last week, that you couldn't go wrong with the Riott Squad, or Ruby. We pretty much guessed the Raw team. The Raw team, and this is one hell of a team, I'm going to tell you, and she pretty much, I don't see this team losing just because they got experience, they got power, they got the brains.
They have everything.
It's just everything for them to win, and not only that, but you have Alexa that's going to be on ringside, and on top of that, you have Liv Morgan and Sarah, which, they're going to play a huge factor
in that match.
And like I said, Alexa Bliss did not go wrong in this team. I think she picked the perfect team, not only because, they're all talented, they're all smart, they all have the experience, but everything else that you had said.
Exactly. And it's perfect. I mean, who else other than this team was she going to pick? She picked the strongest competitors that Raw has right now. And nothing against Bayley or Sasha, but Natty, a team player. Nia, she can be a team player when she wants to be a team player. I mean, come on. She had problems with Alexa Bliss before. We saw them feud, and now she's on Alexa's side. She's ready to
throw it down for Raw.
Exactly. She's ready to partner, and that is brilliant from this team. And Ruby Riott, again, amazing, creatively talented, smart, and she has her own backup. So this team is going to be super hard to take down. And then, surprise, surprise!
Unexpected happened. This is probably the best part of the entire show. As they were introducing the team, on the Titron, all of a sudden you see Becky Lynch, had attacked Ronda and put her in the armbar.
Exactly.
And then from there, Ronda was screaming in pain,
And officials had to come out backstage to help her out. But, come on, he said it was unexpected. It was unexpected because, it wasn't something that
we didn't expect Becky to attack Ronda.
Exactly, but it was bound to happen. We knew there had to be an invasion from one of the two brands.
We expected the invasion, but like I said, we didn't expect Becky to go and actually look for Ronda.
Exactly, and she took her out. She completely took her out. She damaged her arm.
And then from there, she comes out as the Raw team is out, and the women's Raw team is out on the ring. She comes out.
Mind you, there's 7 women standing there from Raw.
And she comes out like a total badass, challenging the entire team, ready to throw it down, not backing up. And sure enough, she does, but at the same time causes a distraction for the entire women's SmackDown division to come out and invade
Raw.
Which was brilliant. It was probably, if not the greatest, invasion ever.
Agreed. I mean, come on. You have the baddest heel in the WWE right now, and by bad I mean she's bad. She has gone bananas, but she's still loved. So that's something that's like, but you do see her, she comes out, she's smart. She has been a great champion, a great leader, and she led her team to invading SmackDown, and you could see she led SmackDown to invading Raw, and you could see that Stephanie didn't know what to do backstage. She was not expecting it, and they got Raw good. I was not expecting it to go down this way. And again, SmackDown throwing hands at Raw, and Raw was completely left demolished. Becky got her nose broken. Pretty much they broke her face, and she got a concussion to the hands of Nia Jax. Again, it was an accident, guys. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't something that was supposed to happen. And so then Ronda comes out, and she is ready to take on Becky Lynch.
She starts cleaning house, but up to a certain point because she was hurt because of the damage that Becky Lynch had done backstage. So she wasn't able to, be at her full potential and actually,
And yet again, Becky takes her out. This match probably was going to be one of the greatest matches we were going to have at Survivor Series. It was a match I was looking forward to very, very much. That's the ending of Raw. Now let's get into SmackDown live from St. Louis, Missouri. All right, AJ Styles, the WWE champion, he comes out and he talks about his match with Brock Lesnar and how he's ready to fight Brock. He's ready to take him down. He is 100% ready, and he felt very, very confident that he was going to take down Brock Lesnar. And so then Paul Heyman shows up and
interrupts him.
Yes, he interrupts him, and he basically says that he's going to have the best seat in the house to see Brock Lesnar defeat AJ Styles.
I think Paul Heyman came out just because he was afraid of Brock Lesnar losing to AJ Styles because of what happened last year. Because if you really analyze the match last year between Brock and AJ, it was pretty much AJ, the one that was delivering, like I said earlier, that took Brock to the limit. And I felt that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar felt that if they would have faced AJ Styles, they would have lost.
I agree with you on that, and I do feel like he came in with a plan. He immediately threw out Daniel Bryan's name. And to his surprise, Daniel Bryan comes out, he interrupts, and he basically says that if he says his name one more time, he says this to AJ, he's like, if you say my name one more time, if it comes out of your mouth, I will punch you in the face. And AJ Styles tells him that if somebody tells him who one of the best wrestlers he's ever faced is, he was going to say Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan got mad and pretty much punched him.
Yeah, pretty much. But here's another thing, too. They pretty much figured out how to get to AJ Styles, And for months, he was undefeated. Nobody was able to beat him. And, I think after Samoa Joe getting into his head, I think that's key. And, Paul Heyman did that, got into his head. And, same thing with Daniel Bryan. And I gotta say, his ego got into his head and was able to,
so
with Daniel Bryan.
So obviously now Daniel Bryan is a heel. So now it puts us at that point where it's like, okay, where do we go from here, basically? Because, obviously they get into a brawl and Shane has to come out. Officials have to come out to break these two apart, and they eventually take it to the backstage with Paige and Shane. And AJ Styles says he wants Daniel Bryan that same night. He's like, I want him tonight, and they booked it. They were like, okay, you're going to get a match against Daniel Bryan, and you are going to defend the WWE Championship against him. And because of that, Daniel Bryan was taken out of the men's Survivor Series team because he was already going to be rewarded with the WWE Championship opportunity on SmackDown Live. Alright, let's move on to the very first match of the night. Finally, we get to see them back on TV. Andrade and Selena back. It's finally time that they're back. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was definitely excited to see Andrade and Selena back on SmackDown Live. I know Selena had to take care of some business, but hey, it comes in this business too that you got to take care of it,
So it was going to be Andrade Cien Almas with Selena Vega versus Jeff Hardy.
One thing that's made Andrade very, very, I got to say, dangerous, and has got him a step ahead of everybody is that he wastes no time. Right before the bell rang, he just attacked Jeff Hardy.
Exactly. He was ready to go, and I feel like there's a new fire to him every time Selena is out there. Because she wasn't with him last week, and he did end up losing. Yes, he lost today on Tuesday as well, but he was ready to go. There was a new fire, a new spark, and it was like, go, 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 go.
I have to agree with you on that one from last week's match, Yeah, he delivered and all that stuff, but I feel he gets more motivated, and especially that he's more focused. Selena pretty much keeps him in line, and it's like, hey, you got to be on your opponent, you got to be doing this, because Andrade tends to get distracted a lot too, and Selena just lines him up.
Selena keeps him on track. She keeps him focused. She tells him, keep your eye on the prize, and that is exactly what he does. Having Selena has been absolutely beneficial to his career, and as we've seen him, he delivers. He's fantastic. He's great, and he has a spokesperson, Selena Vega, there to back him up, and everything he has to say, he backs up everything in the ring. Everything Selena has to say, he is there to back it up.
Another thing from Andrade is that he's very good at wearing down his opponents, and he's shown that week after week after week, and this week with Jeff Hardy, that wasn't the exception.
Exactly. And Jeff Hardy, again, for his age, he's looking absolutely fantastic. He is a veteran. He knows exactly what he's doing. And, hey, he gave Andrade a fight. And I feel like Andrade, again, used this opportunity to prove himself.
Definitely.
And I do want to see, where they're going to go with them. Because, personally, here's my personal opinion on Andrade and Selena. Having them lose isn't the best idea ever, because we know what they can do, right? And I feel like Andrade shouldn't be on a winning streak, but he should definitely be winning more than what he has already been doing, because when was the last win that he actually won? I can't even remember when the last time he actually won a match.
It's been quite a while.
It definitely has, and I feel like he has to win at some point. In order for him to prove the point that he is the future, he has to win some matches. And he proves it with his athleticism, but that's not enough. He has to win, and they have to book him to win.
I feel that, yeah, he's, talented in that, but I feel that he's going to win that big one. He's waiting for that big one. If anything, it's going to be a title opportunity that he gets, and that's what he's going to need. He's, like I said, they're going to slowly start taking him, and that's kind of good. I don't want him to rush.
Yeah.
Andrade, but like I said, he is waiting for that big opportunity, and that's what he's going to take advantage of.
From all the losses is going to come that one huge victory that's going to put him on the map, that's going to show everybody, hey, we saw what he did with AJ Styles, we saw what he did with Daniel Bryan.
And with Rey Mysterio.
It's like, man, the dude has absolutely incredible matches, and he always brings something new. Always, always, always. Jeff Hardy.
I mean, he's veteran of wrestling. You know, and I feel that he pinpoints his opponents and waits for the perfect opportunity.
To make a comeback?
To make a comeback. He was able to execute the Twist of Fate falling with the Swanton Bomb.
Exactly. Alright. And so then, since Daniel Bryan was no longer a part of the Survivor Series team, Miz becomes the sole captain, the only captain that SmackDown now has, which I feel like it should have been since the very beginning. We do know Miz is absolutely smart. He is incredible. He knows. He's kind of like Alexa. He's brilliant. And he was trying to modify his team, and he was like, you know what? Since Rey Mysterio was Daniel Bryan's pick, I don't think he should be part of my team. And, hey, he was trying to make those decisions, and then Paige said, well, if you want to take him out of the team, you're going to have to beat him in a match. So, the next match was The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. If Miz wins, Rey is out of the match. So, Miz, trying to end the match early, he was doing roll-ups, and he was trying to pin him. Trying to, outsmart pretty much Rey Mysterio. But again, Rey Mysterio's athleticism and experience inside of the ring was able to capitalize and was able to say, you know what, not today.
Not only but experience, but, never changing his style. Always keeping focused on the way he wrestled. But then, not only that, he also brings new movesets too. And I think that's what has elevated his career even more.
And he was trying to tire out Miz, which is a great strategy because as we do know Miz, he has great stamina. He can last for a long period of time in the ring, and that was something he was trying to have the Miz not do. And so then the Miz, always improving. He looks 100% focused. He knows where he's going. He knows his objective. He knows what he wants. And what does he want? The WWE Championship. And he for sure is going to get it. He is going to go towards that in order to make that happen. And I feel like it's time. I feel like it's long overdue now. Ever since 2016, he has had a fantastic year.
Definitely. I mean, he's been focused since the beginning. Like you said, I feel like he should get a title shot pretty soon.
He deserves it at this point, and I feel like if he can take the SmackDown Survivor Series team to a victory, he might impress Shane and Paige, and they might consider giving him a title shot opportunity.
I mean, he's already been impressive, and we know he's a leader because he's taking, the B team, which was a Mistaraj. He took
a
Mizdow
or
Sandow to a whole new level, put him on the map. So we know he's a leader. We know he could, put everybody over.
Exactly. And Rey Mysterio was trying to get attacked again by Randy Orton, who comes out and tries to RKO him. But then he ends up RKOing the actual team captain of the Survivor Series team, The Miz.
Here's the thing. Rey Mysterio capitalized on a distraction that The Miz had. He pretty much got distracted, and Mysterio, again, his experience, of being in the WWE, wrestling all over the world, the experience was a factor for him winning this match, So
took advantage of that opportunity and pretty much guaranteed his spot into the Survivor Series team. And it's pretty weird because Randy Orton isn't part of the Survivor Series team this year, and I was honestly expecting him to be a part of it just because, veteran skills, we've seen who he is and what he can do inside of the ring, especially as a heel, and I think he would have been a great asset to the team. Why not?
Not only that, he's always in the Survivor Series, match.
All right, let's get into something very, very important. It was super short, but it was Paige comes out with all of the women of SmackDown Live, and she calls out Becky Lynch, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion. And she basically said that Becky Lynch will handpick her opponent to go on and face Ronda at Survivor Series this Sunday because, as we do know, she suffered a concussion and a broken face, as Tom Phillips called it. And Armando, can you let them know who she decided to pick to go on to Survivor Series on Sunday?
She decided to pick Charlotte, even though they had, a rivalry for the past couple of months, but I see where she's coming from. Out of the entire Raw roster, I would have picked Charlotte too. but I also would have picked Asuka.
The SmackDown roster, you mean?
No, I'm sorry.
But here's the thing. Yes, I know. I predicted this was going to be the match at WrestleMania next year. But it could always still happen. At the end of the day, it's going to be the right athlete that comes out superior. And I do feel like Becky made the right choice picking Charlotte, but I do feel like she could have picked somebody else. Maybe somebody like Carmella. Why? Because Carmella has already represented SmackDown. She has already been the champion. And I feel like now this is going to shift to a completely new, different story, per se. It's going to be very interesting to see when Becky Lynch is able and cleared to compete, since she can't do it on Sunday.
Hopefully she's back by TLC, which will be great for her. I really want to see her at TLC.
And again, Charlotte Flair always plays a really huge part in all of the matches, and I'm not surprised that she's going to be facing Ronda Rousey. It's going to be a match to see, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, the match is not going to disappoint, and like you said, Charlotte always gets picked for the big matches. That's why for me, she's known as Big Match Charlotte. Don't be surprised, like I said before. She has a extremely great career ahead of her. And like I said before, don't be surprised if she ends up being, the 16-time women's champion.
And it's
reach her father's mark, and I feel that that's her goal. And at the pace she's going right now, don't be surprised if she actually gets to it.
And to piggyback a little bit on the 16-time women's champion, I see it happening as well, and I feel like it's going to take a really, 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 really long time for somebody to be able to reach Charlotte when she already gets there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the New Day versus The Bar and Big Show. Big Show plays a really huge role in what The Bar is today. I feel like he's been a great asset to their team. Not that The Bar actually needed it, but I feel like it's new. Now they're able to even up the odds against the New Day, who for so long has been a trio, and The Bar hasn't. They've pretty much been a duo their entire time, and now they finally have somebody with the power of the Big Show, and we saw that during this match. I mean, he came in, he dominated the match, and he finished it off.
This is going to make The Bar more stronger, obviously adding the Big Show. He's going to be the game changer no matter what. Whatever opponent they face, that's some serious backup. And
we do know that The Bar is facing the Raw
Tag Team Champions, AOP.
Yes.
So,
sorry.
Don't be surprised if Big Show gets involved and ends up,
playing a huge role in what the outcome of this match is going to be.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into the main event, which was AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Now, it was obviously pretty obvious the moment this match was announced that Daniel Bryan was going to win. And that's what ended up happening. But both superstars started off with absolutely great momentum.
Really, there's not a whole lot to say about the match, because we both know they're both great athletes. Both Daniel Bryan and AJ always deliver. They don't disappoint.
Exactly. And to be completely honest, we saw it coming. Honestly, I did. The moment they announced the match, I was like, all right, Daniel Bryan is definitely going to retain. Is definitely going to win the championship. And then, let's not forget, AJ Styles does have a rematch clause, which he could potentially use at TLC, which will be a pay-per-view that will take place here in San Jose, so we will definitely be there for that. But I do not see Daniel Bryan losing it. If anything, he will lose it at WrestleMania, and I will predict it now. The Miz is winning the Rumble. It's pretty obvious at this point. I would be surprised if that's not the match we're getting at Mania. I don't see him facing anybody else, to be honest. He beat AJ already. Who is he going to face? Shinsuke Nakamura? He can't face Nakamura because Nakamura was, Randy, I don't see that happening. Jeff Hardy, neither. Not another possibility. The only person I possibly see him going up against is The Miz.
Yep, definitely, and not just because of that, but the feud that they had in the past, the rivalry.
And obviously it's still not over, and I will tell you why I believe it's still not over. Because, as we did see, there was 2 captains for the Survivor Series team, and the captains were Miz and Daniel Bryan. And again, they weren't getting along. Yes, they were trying to get along. They agreed in certain decisions, but we all know they only got along for the sake of the SmackDown team. And I feel like that's going to play a role in this, and I do think The Miz is going to be really pissed off that Daniel Bryan is now the WWE champion. And you can expect him to try to find his way to take down Daniel Bryan as a champion.
Well, yeah, he's smart, and he's going to sneak his way into, getting, if anything, another title opportunity. And like you said, of winning the Royal Rumble, because The Miz is that type of person that goes above and beyond and is willing to do whatever it takes to win.
And he's brilliant. Always remember that. He is brilliant. He knows what he wants, and he knows what to do. That's all we have for you guys on this episode of Wrestling with Siblings. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let everybody in your family know to become a sibling today. Subscribe to our channel. We are doing this, guys. Get the word out there that Wrestling with Siblings is new to YouTube, and that we're trying to bring you guys the best wrestling content we possibly can. And it will be our 1 year on YouTube very, very soon. We will let you guys know when that is. And for those of you that do not know what WWS stands for, Armando, what does WWS stand for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Thank you guys for all the love and support.
Join us next week on Wrestling with Siblings.